Three. Hey, we are live. Our first in-season hangout, official start of the season this week. We have some matches going on this week. We have some great things on the horizon. Finally getting some matches, and got the Intercontinental World Champion, Nick Weisjohn, with his headphones and belt.
It's my baby.
Who did you defeat for that title?
I had a match against Troy Owen where I was illegally attacked, and they tried to take my belt from me, but I got it back. It's on video somewhere. We'll send it out.
You might want to stay out of Kendallville area. I heard there might be someone a nemesis that might be there. So.
No one takes my strap. It's my belt.
That's good. And we also have the rankings guru, Mike Reiser, on the rise, who is frantically working with all the millions of weight changes all of a sudden after the rankings have came out. So he's going to plead for someone to stay at 106 for this year, so that he has someone to rank. We have 7 of them at Carroll if you need some people to rank.
Give me some names.
All under 100 pounds, except for one.
Johnny Forfeit.
Yes. So, looks like rankings are. We'll start with a little bit on the rankings. They looked pretty good so far, getting some good feedback on them. Anything? What do you see that's kind of jumping out at you that we in the rankings, like some of the weights that you're looking forward to?
I mean, it just makes me feel like a lot of people didn't buy the magazine. A lot of guys changed as soon as we posted them. So they were they're like, oh, you know, we're going to be a different weight class now. This guy, a lot of the 106, Alec White's saying 13 now. Mason Mendez is kind of the same way, 13. Just a lot of guys. I mean, everyone has an idea that they kind of want to go a certain weight, but then once you get in the room and you start practicing, I think you kind of come back to reality a little bit. Everyone wants to return to the same weight class, I'm sure, and then when you come back, sometimes that weight doesn't come off. So,
yeah.
Brandon James, we had him ranked at 38. He's seated at 32 for Saturday, so I'm guessing he's gonna be 32. Really, not a ton of shakeup from what we had before, but I think Super 32 kind of changed some things. That definitely moved Drew Hughes up. He had a strong showing. Obviously, you know, the guys that placed there are going to be ranked really high. Chad Redd's obviously going to be number 1. He had a great showing.
Yep, so looks like I'm starting to hear some weights. Looks like Kuntz will be back down to 60, so that'll add to that weight class. The upper weights are actually looking pretty juicy. I like the 60 and 70. Have a lot of guys that are going to be challenging. I know some teams are still trying to work out weights and trying to figure out who can make what weight, especially the teams like Penn that are trying to figure out who's going to make the drop and who's going to stay up. So I've been hearing about them trying to figure out who's going where, things like that. So.
Well, the good thing with Penn is if you don't make their first varsity, you can make one of their next 7 of them. So.
Yes, very. They only have like 60 kids in the room, I guess. They're a little down this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you're talented like them, they come out. Trust me, I know that. But it's a good problem to have.
So.
I think Modern Day was kind of the same way. Like we really didn't know where they were gonna land, and then now it's the picture's kind of straightening up a little bit.
Yep, and until we actually see some matches, which we'll start seeing, I'm sure. I think there's a couple, might be a couple tonight, and I know there's some later this week that we'll start seeing where kids are going, and they always have the opportunity to drop down, but most are probably gonna stay where they're starting at this year right now. Especially on some of like the better teams, they don't have as much weight shifts and stuff. So, got some pretty big meets. You got the Capital City Classic. That's gonna probably be a finals dual meet between Perry Meridian and Warren Central. It looks like. So, any weights that kind of jump out at you, Mike, here. I mean, I know 32 is going to have
James and McKinney.
James and McKinney there.
Yeah, I was just actually looking some of the brackets. I didn't even look at it till right now. 13 looks pretty good with Eric Owens, Chapman Lester. Who else was in there?
Jack Serbies and
Jack
Ethan Smiley.
Serby, a tough freshman, and Ethan Smiley, another tough freshman. So I think that'll be a pretty good weight. Those are all 4 guys that were ranked or right on the rankings, like borderline. I think Smiley was right on the borderline, and then Owens was right on the borderline. But I thought he was gonna be 120. I think making 13 is good for him. I think he'll be in the next update for sure at 13, as long as he does well. If he comes out and takes 4th, then scrap what I just said.
Yeah.
Really, I'm excited to kind of see some of the Perry Meridian guys. I would talk a lot with Pearson about some of their JV guys, how they could kind of step in and do well, like Ook and Napier, some guys like that had been behind some really good kids. So I'm excited to kind of see some of those guys in there and see how they do.
Napier has Pruitt. That'll be a good match for him most likely in the finals from Perry. And then I mean, even you have Warren, who's he should have a little bit easier day, but I mean, you have a freshman coming in at a 138 is going to make you have to work for your wins there.
Yeah, I like to see him and Trajan go at it. The younger Pruitt, I think he's pretty tough. So, those are both kind of big jumps. 'Cause I think Trajan was, and he had a knee surgery last year, but I want to say he was right around like 13 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, Evan Smiley, Brett Johnson, first round should be pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, that's a bad draw. That'll be they're both state qualifiers, right?
Yeah. Not last year, but from 2 years ago, yeah.
Johnson was at 106. He's gained 2 or 3 pounds, I think.
Yeah.
And then Herrick at the bottom's pretty tough too.
And David Ray's not bad either.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another pretty solid weight. I think those guys are all pretty good. That's a tough draw for first round though.
Yeah. Then you have Desmond Goddard at 160, drew the number 2 seed, Milner from Perry, who another one of their first year starters. So
yeah, I kind of feel the same way about Goddard though too. He was in that cathedral room where there wasn't really a spot for him, which is tough because they were so deep.
Yeah.
So him going over definitely helps them out.
He wrestled our Tristan Wilson, who placed 6th last year. He wrestled him at Connorsville and gave him a good match. I mean, it was 3 or 4 point match, and obviously he's talented enough to make the lineup. Just got pushed out of the way, some other guys. So
yeah, I think it'd definitely be good to see some of these freshmen. Dylan Jolly Little, at 70. So I mean that's kind of when you rank freshmen early on that, and he's not ranked, but some of the guys like Walton or Mason Paris, when you rank some of the freshmen at upper weights, people kind of give you a hard time and ask you, how do you figure? So it's good to see him get out there and get some early matches and have some success.
Yeah. Looking through some of the other weights, looks like Warren Central. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a Warren Central Perry dual meet. Those two are by far the top 2 teams there. Probably, they're both pretty. They're both going to be at team state, so they're both have a lot of very highly ranked kids, or even guys that are on the watch list. So.
Yeah, I think that's 220 looks like it's a good spot. I think it's like just telling of a good program because Perry did lose a lot. They lost a good amount of guys that were really good, and that they can kind of reload and have some guys behind them. I mean, they're kind of the same thing we were saying about Penn. They can lose guys and just have guys step right in and have success.
I mean, that's a lot of the success that I've seen of those really good teams. I mean, you look back at the Mishawaka teams when I was in school, and that's how it was you had guys like Adam Guerra who were behind me and Harper his whole career, and then his senior year he comes in and loses 4 matches and he's 5th at state, and no one knew who this kid was. That's when you're a good program, you're going to have that.
The other big one is the Northern Indiana Challenge. Should be some at Munster. Actually, it's at 3 different locations. It's at Munster, Twin Lakes, and Fort Wayne, home of the Generals. And should be a good one. Carroll will be there. Harrison, they're going to have a pretty good team. They return a lot of guys. Munster has some good young guys. Hobart has some very good young guys that are going to get their first taste of some action. Any matches you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I think, just depending how, I think Hobart held some guys out last year. I think they had some injuries early on. So, obviously, if you just line them up, it'd be good to see the Little Crary, Cody Crary's an incoming freshman, maybe with Black. And then, maybe Kaufman's in there, Ray Polt, those guys are in. Obviously, you know better than I do. And then, I think there'll be a handful of solid 106s. It's good to see, Triana, those guys. It's going to be the first time really, making that weight for, a guy like Triana. I know he wrestled some summer stuff there, but to keep it consistently over a year. Who else? Who else is there? Last year there was a couple good matches, 220. Fletcher Miller and Meyer wrestled there twice, right? They wrestled their duel, and then they wrestled in the tournament with your guys' 220 last year. So
he did. Yeah, he did meet in the finals. So yeah.
But definitely, I like that tournament. I think that's a cool thing. I think it brings a lot of the area. It encompasses so much. It's such a good early tournament where you're going to get a couple duels on Friday and then be able to wrestle an individual tournament Saturday.
Yeah, it should be. It's interesting because it's you have teams from Fort Wayne, from around central Indiana, and then also in northwest Indiana. So we got good mixture of teams. Harrison looks like they return a pretty good team that they're gonna they should do pretty well in their regional and semi-state. Definitely a semi-state or regional favorite. Carroll's obviously probably a regional favorite. You look at Munster and Hobart. Hobart might, I don't know exactly who's in their regional, but they're going to be one.
Portage.
Okay, maybe not. But they have some horses that can definitely do well, and they could easily keep 4 or 5 kids a state.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the Hobart thing, especially, man, to get those kids some matches and get going. They're young. They have a lot of really young, good kids, and then they got some good guys returning, like Sapko, and then J.C. Leon. So you have a good mix of guys over there, and I think that just kind of shows that Cosgrove and those guys are doing a good job. And then Harrison, they keep. Someone had posted that they picked up. Can't think of the coach from Purdue's name right now.
Hinkle?
Yeah, Hinkle's over there helping out, which is good,
Yeah, that definitely.
No, yeah, getting a guy that was just coaching in the Big Ten last year, helping out, it's definitely not gonna make you guys regress.
Yeah. Any other duels or any tournaments that you're looking forward to in either this week or next? I know there's might be some decent matches down at Mount Vernon next week. The Turkey Classic, and there's some other things going on.
Yeah. The Mount Vernon thing. There's New Pal there, and who else is there? New Pal.
Yorktown, Mount Vernon. I'd have to look it up offhand.
But and just off top, you're going to get New Pal, who I think is going to be ridiculous, and I think they're really good. And then you're going to have Yorktown there, who's always really good. I think Yorktown, with all their returning, can be right there at individual state.
Yeah, they definitely
do pretty well at 2A. I'm sure they'll win 2A.
Yeah.
They returned a ton. They got so much back. Doing the rankings almost every weight, except for a handful of guys like Chandler Carroll who are returning.
Yeah, they have a real good team coming back.
And they have a handful of guys that step in that are solid. They got 16 stands, right?
Yeah. I think they have at least 3 in the lineup, I think. So they're like the Bakers in Belmont. You have to have at least 3 or 4 of them in your lineup.
Well, how many wine samples are in the modern day lineup this year?
I don't know. But probably a handful. Those guys, it's good. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. New Albany's going to be there. They have some good kids, handful of guys that are either ranked or on the watch list.
Yeah, I know they got a handful of guys that are like right on, like that were semi-state guys, but they got Lynch and Castleberry who started off in the rankings. But with guys moving, I think they were in that 12 to 16 range. We only ranked the 16, so.
And Heritage Hills, I don't know what I know they always have some solid kids. So they're not ranked. There's probably a few kids returning. I'm just looking at. Should be a good early season test for all those teams. I'm not sure exactly the format. It looks like there's like 12 teams there, so it might be 10-ish duels in 2 days. So a lot of matches early on. Got to work off that extra turkey that they ate. So, and then New Pal will be. I think New Pal's are going to be a little bit short-handed because they think they may have their football team should be is doing pretty well. Yorktown just got done this week, so a couple of those teams are going to be a little out of shape, but they'll still be fairly they'll be ready to go, I'm sure.
That's always a Cathedral thing, right?
Yeah.
Like they just very first start putting their football team back in the lineup after right around the tryoff. That's what they always say.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a that's the Cathedral thing. There's quite a few teams that have. Penn just got done last week, so they're going to get in their football kids like Woods and Osborne and them back. So that's why some of those teams don't start till mid December.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like last year, Penn wrestled the Harvest, and they were missing a couple guys, and they had guys like Mitch Slatton come in and wrestle Scotty Sopko to overtime. Oh, he's just our backup. He's just our backup 70. Like, oh, okay.
Can't make the lineup.
Our backup
70 or 82 or anything. So hey, nice. Any weights that you're looking for guys that you kind of needing some help with? Might as well ask for it now. I know 6 we were talking about beforehand. Looks like there's a mass exodus of some of the guys.
Obviously, that's such a hard weight to return at. A guy like Alec White, I would have, last year I would have been for sure that he would have been a 6-pounder. I think he was a little undersized last year and still was a semifinalist, and now they're saying that, he's not going to be there. But also you get their backup kid's pretty good. What was his name? Cameron Deep?
Yeah.
And he'll be in the rankings. If White's going to be at 13, he'll definitely be in there. But that's one of the weights. It's like always hard because you're taking a lot of like middle school results or summer results and putting a lot of kids in, and then you're putting them ahead of guys. So you kind of hurt people's feelings, but I think that usually works out. Obviously, the 4 semifinalists last year were freshmen.
Yeah. Once we get some matches under their belts, that'll be a little bit easier, possibly, or it's the typical weight where everyone beats everybody and you draw names out of a hat for rankings.
Yeah, I think that's such an old way of thinking. Like when guys are like, "Well, he's a freshman," and like it's just not the same thing as it used to be.
Like some of these kids been wrestling for years. Like
people get like, "How are you gonna put a freshman ahead of this kid? He's a state qualifier, or let this kid's win at nationals?" Someone asked me about Brayton Lee, like, "How's that kid so high? He's ahead of medalists." Like, he just won the IndianaMat preseason open. He's pretty good.
He beat Matt McKinney pretty handily. It was a close match, but I think as a freshman he stepped in and made a point there. And then
and Matt McKinney is really good. He's a couple-time qualifier, but that's a kid that's every year. If you're asking me if he's gonna medal, I would say that kid's gonna medal. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's beating slouches. And then he went out. I think right after the McKinney match, he just straight dominated the 2-time Wisconsin champ. So just the weight changes. I don't think I ever not return messages. So if you send me like the private messages before, I think my inbox was full, but now I deleted a lot of messages. I always respond. Like any little bit. Like even if you're like, "Hey, my cousin's nephew just started last week. Keep him on the watch list. He's never wrestled before in his life." I'm like, "Hey man, thanks. Just keep me posted." So I don't try to be a jerk about it. Emails, we got a lot of stuff. As soon as I got posted to the site, everyone was switching weights. So, but then you get some people asking like, "Oh, did you hear like like this kid's moving down. I'm like, no, I didn't hear that. Like, oh, could you ask him? Like, all right. So
make sure you also identify who you are, so that I'm not telling people that some random other team isn't has a kid moving down, because it takes it's a lot better when it's come from a coach or parent, someone that's within a program.
Mm-hmm.
I respond to people just wanting to talk. I got a lonely email. You guys want to send them out? We can conversate. You can sit by me at tournaments. Sometimes I get lonely.
He does. I saw that at the IndianaMat tournament.
Yeah, I'll just sit there by myself, just kicking my feet.
Yes, and he'll be at the Nick this weekend, so come to lunch and see him. He'll be probably very high up, just taking a survey of the land, and watching his taking notes, and probably more drawing pictures or something.
Yeah, texting and wearing IndianaMat shirts, laughing like a happy child. So, it's definitely one of those things. I don't think I've ever like, oh yeah, well, I don't believe you. Obviously, I know why everyone's sending stuff. It's not like anyone's trying to badmouth it. I've never got an email where someone hated someone yet. So if I get those today, that'll be a first.
You're asking for emails, are going to email you, whether it's nice or bad. So
no, I like that though. I like the Northwest Indiana challenge. You got Joe will be there and Chad will be there, so it makes me feel like a big IndianaMat family. I like that. I wish Nick was going to be there, but
no one ever wants to come down to Indianapolis. No one wants to come hang out.
I do want to go to Indianapolis.
We'll do a live hangout from my apartment.
Let's do it. I was hoping we were going to do the one for Perry. I seen that Tante posted that. I was like, awesome, free pizza. I'll drive 4 hours.
I'll buy the equipment. We'll do it next year.
You might want to put that laundry away that's in your behind you, Nick.
No, dude, that's fine. No, there's nothing in there. There's my Kohl's belt.
Yeah, we need to do on the spot locations. I guess maybe later in the year. We'll do it from the Perry WrestleMania or the Perry Wrestling Room or something like that.
If we were at the Perry WrestleMania, I'd be doing mad challenges for my title, and no one would take it from me. No holds barred.
And you better watch Perry headlock out of Tante Jr.
I think that's the other thing. We've kind of talked a little bit about getting some people to do some guest spots, and it'd be nice to start getting that going again. I thought that was pretty cool last year. We had DeAndre on and a couple of guys from whoever.
Wabash Mansion.
Yeah, I missed that show. I think I was playing baseball or something.
Yeah, no, we're actually looking to seal up some people to come in and talk to them. Actually, not come in. They're going to be on their computers, so I guess not really have them come, talk to them and get some. So if you have any ideas, I already have someone begging. I'm sure you guys could guess.
I got that tweet too.
A certain redhead.
Possibly. I don't want to give away too much.
We need to bring some Evansville flavor on here.
There's not enough of it, I'll tell you that.
Dude, you're Evansville. I keep thinking you're an indie guy.
No, dude, we make the long haul, and sometimes I'm really thankful for that.
I'll be doing my first trip to the Coliseum next week, so that'll be fun.
Yes. For wrestling, right?
Different kind.
Different kind.
I got young kids. They're excited.
Are you going to Raw on Monday?
No, Tuesday.
Oh, there's another one. Yeah, to do another show that night.
Yeah, so just the weight changes would be great, man. If you send them in, I think that's also like an old thing. People they always want to say like, well, I'm trying to keep it a secret. I don't think that there's a lot of secrets in the state of Indiana anymore. Like you're not sneaking anyone under the radar. And if you do, then everyone's like, oh, I told you that guy was so good. Like, I wish you did tell me.
Well, it kind of comes back to like how people are like, oh, we don't want any video of our kids up because they're gonna scout them. It's like anyone who's at your tournament is scouting your kid because they all have cell phones. I can do this, and I'm scouting your kid. It doesn't. It annoys me. There's your 4-second rant for the day. We'll bring it back for one time.
Are you ready? Do you not have your rants ready yet?
Dude, I'm too tired and sick. I'm in a festive mood today. Look at me. It's winter time. I'm just happy. Wrestling's starting up again. I just need to not be so lonely.
You're married to wrestling.
I love it.
Any what's going on in the indie area coming up? Any big things that any big matches?
I mean, it's the Capital City Classic's the only big thing coming up. I know next week we're over in Edgewood, which will be some good competition. It'll be a good tournament for us. It's always well ran. I was thinking we might see a Walton Kuntz match, which would have been interesting for me, but I'm hearing that might not happen. And then, no, I know this weekend is the Brownsburg JV tournament, which Barnburner are going to be there. I'd say come watch, get your money's worth. And then we have an elementary tournament the next day. So if you want to watch 4-year-olds push each other down for 3 hours, we got you covered.
I was just talking to someone the other day about I like the JV meets, honestly. I feel like I rank more JV guys like the next year. You know, guys that were backups. I don't want to call it all those kids JVs because a lot of spots would be varsity guys. But I feel like I like that. I like that post of like who are some guys that had good years. I feel like that's like one of those things that get lost. Like guys are like, oh, that guy's JV. There's some like I do like Mitch Slanton. That dude's, you know, he signed to wrestling college. I don't know if he's in the lineup, but that dude wasn't even a varsity guy, which is awesome.
I mean, I know when we set this tournament up, we made it a big deal. Like we're bringing in Perry, we're bringing in Warren Central. We're gonna bring in the big because might as well bring in the best JVs you can. And you just get a bunch of matches. That's the whole point of it is wrestle a lot. So.
Yeah, we should probably set up something where we can get all the best JV teams there. I know they do that thing in Rensselaer where there's a lot of teams, but I don't know if Perry's there and Mater Day and all those guys.
I remember they do that. It's like it's the unofficial JV state tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they call it, but I'm not sure if it's really a JV. Like I said, if you're not sending like if you know Jordan Napier, who was beating ranked guys last year when Perry's JV was going to varsity tournaments, isn't winning that, then there's a good chance that it probably wasn't the legit JV state.
Yeah. So.
That's going to be my next tournament I'm running. I'm putting that together. It's in the works. It's going to be like IndianaMat Open next weekend, JV State.
We'll do it. Let's do it.
They do that now in freshman, sophomore state. They can't be, I'm pretty certain they can't be varsity kids, but it's like a freshman, sophomore state. They do that like the week after state, so it can definitely be a good event. We'll add that to the to-do list for IndianaMat because we don't have enough.
Update your profiles. We're gonna start updating JV State to profiles.
Yeah,
nice.
Career. We're gonna start a Kickstarter too for it. So
yeah,
nice.
That's
I'll be so happy. I'm gonna be doing live locations from JV meets from now on. It's gonna be so good.
I will say that one thing is it seems like the transition to the new site's gone really smooth. People seem to be liking it, using it. I like that we have some college profiles out there now. That's really cool. The ability for some of our the video stuff's really cool. I feel like you're able, if there's a dual meet that is recorded, you can just say, here's the results, here's the match. You can watch that. I think that's really cool. I think I'm really excited to see when we start getting results coming in. What people are going to do with that stuff, because there's a lot of potential there that hopefully gets used.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I think you guys did a great job. People are like, man, how'd you guys do that? And I said, I did none of that. Actually, after one show, they were talking about coding. They asked me what I thought. I said, like, Control-Delete usually works.
It does. It is really good.
So you guys did a great job, man. I was just actually looking at some of the profiles today, and it was like, I think Chad Red's profile had like 700 views. So I want to know who's viewing these things because that's awesome.
Yeah. The rankings had 7,300 views already.
Yeah, so I think I looked. It was like 7,330 or something.
Yeah.
When did we post that Saturday night? On the download, too. We didn't even post like a post saying that the rankings are updated or that.
I tweeted it out. Actually, it was Sunday morning, so I tweeted it out Sunday night when they were all up there. You could tell some people kind of saw that it was coming. So
Hopefully, like people kind of like a trying thing, because it's very like you put it in and it posts. So like if people are giving me a hard time, like I think I might have messed up a couple spots and it was like but it's a very new system. So hopefully it starts going smooth. The first 2 weights I did, I was like, this is gonna suck. But after that, it went really fast.
yeah, once you if you do notice, if you guys are on it and all of a sudden you see a new ranking come up, but there's only 4 or 5 weights, that probably means wait 20 minutes and you'll have most of them, because that's every time he posts a weight, it'll add it to the list. So it takes probably 20 minutes for him to actually post most weights, I'm sure, after you get a hang of it and making sure you got the right kids. Because you're putting 224 kids on and there's bound to be a couple minor mistakes. I noticed we do have 2 Dustin Millers in our in the system, so make sure if one of them gets ranked, it's the right one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a nice Joe Smith to come through.
Yeah.
Good John Smith. Let's get a good John Smith in there.
So should be.
That's one of those things. It's like it's gonna be a trying. It's such a good tool, but like obviously that's the first time I'd ever worked with it. So hopefully you guys are not giving me too hard of a time. I'm sure I messed up in a couple spots.
Now the results, I'm excited to start getting dual results in there and getting some of the pages starting to fill out. I think people are going to really enjoy being able to check out team profiles. I know, if you're going to go watch, a certain team, you can click on, Zionsville. That's where I'm on right now, actually, and you're like, oh man, they have a real good 106 and 132. That means so and so and so and so are going to have good matches. Things like that. It's kind of neat to be able to see that kind of stuff, to be aware that what matches are coming up, and I mean, you might be able to, if you're seeing 2 teams are wrestling and that there might be 3 or 4 matches, hey, you might go take a weeknight field trip to watch 2 teams wrestle, things like that. So I'm excited to see everything kind of come together. We also are starting to get a few more team histories in there. I know I put in I put in one today, and someone else put in a bunch. So definitely get your information in there. It's awesome to see that kind of information in there. That a team's information. So it's one of those things that you just gotta do, and it'll be neat to see everything. A team's history. And I know it's one of my things is I look through a team's history and you see 3 or 4 coaches. That's pretty cool to see out of 40 years that many coaches, or some of them have quite a few more than that. So
yeah, it's definitely a really cool tool. I liked it right after I pushed the semi-state rankings. I had just put them in. I was like, I'll check out some of the team profiles, and I checked Penn. It was like their whole team was ranked. It was already like transferred over. It was like, people are probably like, this guy's such a huge Penn fan. It's not that way, but it's definitely cool that it automatically updated that way.
mm-hmm.
Hopefully some guys can use it for seeding and stuff. Definitely it's like a cleaner way to do finals if you have it all in front of you. You can have career record, you can have tournaments, you can have national wins. You can set the standard that way.
Yeah, definitely. And wrestlers, coaches, or parents, you guys can edit the wrestlers' information, like their career records and things like that. So be sure to, if you have a profile, I know a couple of them I put in, and I checked back a couple days later, and someone is, added some of their career records and stuff. So update that stuff. That will be used later for our addition to the website. We'll start bringing back some things like the Matt Burns stuff, and definitely if you have your career records in there, that'll help. You'll already have a profile in there for that stuff. So that'll be kind of neat. We do have our college. Make sure you check out our college All-Americans list. If you go under information, college All-Americans, all the All-Americans from NAI, D2, D3, and D1 from Indiana. It's a list of all those ever, and those are all updated. They will have state information probably sometime in the future, not this year, but maybe next spring and summer. So things like that we're planning on adding, and I'm excited just to see things actually working and making sure the website doesn't crash when everyone's checking results, or Nick's going to be getting a frantic phone call.
All the loading thing is just Cornelius Washington or Cornelius Elliott jumping over people.
Yeah, so make sure you also follow IndianaMat on Twitter, Facebook, G+, and Instagram. If you see those buttons, click on them, follow us. We do post information, so be wary of that. Guess one thing I kind of want to do is give you guys some hints and stuff from our website. There's a lot of cool features on there that some people might not know about, and I know one of my biggest pet peeves, let's see if that comes up to the board, because it seems like it's slow for me. It's going slow. One of my biggest pet peeves is having unread forums, and because I always make sure people are posting on the right areas. So as soon as we do this, website's being slow tonight.
Yep, I've noticed.
Okay.
All the people got the rankings, man.
Everyone's watching the Google Hangout, surfing.
Probably.
Loving it.
That's actually what I meant to check.
There we go. Okay. Don't go anywhere. There we go. Now I will share my screen. There we go. We have our, if you notice on the board, the blue gorillas are forums that have a new message here. So a lot of these forums have new messages that I want to see. I like to make sure that, if I read one, if I check the forum, that I, don't have any, I know that there's no new messages. So you hover over your gorilla right there and double click, it will mark the whole forum as red, and it will turn yellow. The site loads up. It's a great thing I always use for, there it is. So now it's yellow. That way I know if I'm checking a forum for something, I know I've read it and I don't have to read every message. So a little tip that I've seen, make sure we're going to have over in this area, this right area, we're going to have some, when duels start posting, we're going to have those in there. We're going to be tweeting out all of our duel results, so be ready for that to start coming up this week. And as of right now, also a pretty cool little thing is I don't really care to look at the archives. We can archives, you can either plus or minus right there, that way those forums aren't showing. So if you don't want to care about administration, you can do that too. Things like that. Little things on the board. If you have any questions, you can always post a message. So I'm sure if you have a question, other people have the same question that you have. So make sure you guys, we'll show some other little things once we get some results in here that we have throughout the year. This week we'll start getting some cool things in, so make sure you're pre-clearing the website, and if you can't see the rankings, sign up for a free account. Make sure you check your emails, that they will be coming from an IndianaMat.com@gmail.com email address. So check your spam folders if you didn't get it. Make sure you use the right email address. I know I've gotten a few returned emails, so make sure it's a valid email address, and activate your account so you can see the rankings, and send Mike an email and tell them that they're bad or they're great. Most likely they're great, right?
I like when they say, "Hey man, you did a great job, but." That's my favorite. No,
So,
I like everyone's tweets actually. I like everyone's messages. It makes me really happy.
any last words from Nick with the belt? Are you challenging anyone?
This belt will have a 24/7 ruling on it. So if anyone in any tournament wants to challenge me, all you have to do is bring a licensed official and get the 1, 2, 3. But fair warning, I will RKO you out of nowhere. So
That would be great if people just started tackling you. That would make me so happy.
most people say that.
You better
Most
watch your
women,
back. Here, what kind of matches are you going to do?
Oh, it's falls count anywhere, no holds barred. Bring a chair, bring anything. You'll probably see some Brownsburg wrestlers in the middle of the rounds trying to steal the belt from me, but it ain't gonna happen. I will stone cold stun them right on their faces.
You better watch out for
Something I don't joke
the.
about.
They're the hardcore champions of the world, aren't they?
We're pretty good. Pretty good.
Kind.
We spend about an hour practice just doing clotheslines, so.
Wow. He gave the secret out. That's not good.
The first one's free.
Mike, any words of wisdom? Anything for the in closing?
Kind of a slow show, I feel like, a little bit, but well, it'll get better. I feel like I was happy to see the Region Rat posted today. Makes me feel like wrestling season's starting to get going. I don't know if that's the real Region Rat or the fake Region Rat. There's a fake one and a real one, so.
I don't think the fake one's been on for a while. I think he
Well,
may
the
have.
real Region Rat posted, that makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm glad he figured out the new system. If he can figure it out, anyone can. So we're going to wrap it up. We'll have a shorter show this time. Probably won't do a Thanksgiving one. I heard someone next Tuesday is going to be out finding someone's belt. So he's actually coming over to God's country for some wrestling, but not the real wrestling.
Surprise birthday parties, but hey, man, we do it.
So we'll see you guys around. Make sure you come out to some of the meets. Mike will be out. He'll be wearing his IndianaMat gear. I will be wearing my IndianaMat gear sometimes. So we'll be at the Nick this week at Munster. So come watch some good wrestling, and Mike will talk your ear off about wrestling and tell you all the secrets of who's on his watch list. He gives free. If you come and talk to him, he gives you 5 free watch list people.
One of my favorite things is people are trying to get one by me, like, oh, this kid here, like, oh yeah, he wins here, here, and here, and I usually amaze people with that. So hopefully someone can try to come by and give me some information like that.
Sounds good, but we'll be on probably not next week, probably a week after that. We'll have a lot of matches to talk about. Maybe we'll have a special guest, someone to challenge Nick for the Intercontinental Championship. I guess it's glad that he's not in a heavyweight anymore. He looks a little thinner, so
The camera makes you lose like 10 pounds, right?
Yeah, might go to cruiserweight level. So
I will hurt around somebody so hard.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.